Spartan Nation, what is going on? This is Ken, the super cool Spartan, but we're all mad Spartans today. We're all mad Spartans, so I'm going to be Ken, the super mad Spartan. We got Brian, the super duper mad Spartan, Quapo, the super mad but still connected Spartan here. What can we say? It's the third consecutive loss in a row to that team down the road. We're all very disappointed. We're all mad. And let's just get right into it, gentlemen. I mean, what's your initial thoughts? I'll go with you, Brian. I know you got a hot take, so why don't you kick it off for us?
Welcome to the rivalry, Jonathan Smith. That's my initial thought. I know there's a hot take out there. People saying, he didn't understand the rivalry that affected the game. I don't think that per se. I think the rivalry stuff really he understood after the game when we saw what we already know about, Michigan football players sometimes. They can be pretty classless on the field. And you get the beating of the chest, the little bro shots off of, you being a team that you were supposed to be 24-point favorite in a few months ago to your 4-5-3 season now, coming off national championship. That's the kind of stuff you have to take here. Welcome to the rivalry. That's my initial thought.
What say you, Quafo? What are your initial thoughts?
Yeah, typically I feel like I'm pretty mild-mannered, but I was hot. Obviously, we had our group text going on. I hate the winnable games. And the problem with this particular game, it is our rival. And they know we're a rival. They talking all that. See, the guys we had last week, the classic Wolverines, they understood. They didn't say Michigan State's not a rival. It's not Ohio State, but it's a rival. And for Colston Loveland, whatever his name is, for him.
Yeah, Colston Loveland, yeah.
I know his name. I didn't even want to say it. Colston Loveland. Young man, I'm going to tell you what time it is. Like, you won your games. That's cool. But, pride comes before the fall. We'll bring that back from Coach D. And to Brian's point, maybe the coaches didn't understand, the guys coming in here from Oregon State. Oregon State and Oregon, they call it the Civil War. This is the real Civil War.
They don't understand the hate.
Right.
365 days we got to live with this. 365 days. And, so much junk talk. And that was a winnable game. And, typically I'm cool. I'm even-keeled because obviously I live and work and interact with all these players and coaches. But, man, that one is – and I know they're mad too. They had their players-only meeting. We'll get into that in a second. But, golly, that one is one we got to have. So that's my initial thoughts.
The dreaded players-only meeting. We're at that point of the season now.
Well, it's with good reason because, again, you can't wallow in this because you'll catch a big L against Indiana if you play around. So, initial thoughts is when it's so close and you're dominant for the first 17, 18, 20 minutes, and then it just unravels we go into a shell. I don't know. Go ahead, Ken. I don't know. This is the marriage I've been in a while.
Yeah, I'm with you. And, I went to the Urban Tailgate event. That's the event between, that's with the Detroit chapters of MSU and U of M alumni. Been doing it for a quarter century now, about 25 years. Mm-hmm. And it's funny. I was reading this article. I actually have it pulled up here on my laptop. That it was written by this guy named Aiden Champion, who writes for the Sports Illustrated. And he echoes both your guys' points that this was a welcome to the rivalry moment for the coaching staff, those who came from Oregon State. And on top of that, this was the first game that I've seen the coaching staff really just get out-coached, to be honest with you. I mean, from my take, that what you were saying, Guapo, that we were dominating, the first half of the game. I mean, we were killing them with the run game. And then all of a sudden, Aiden goes back to his ways of fumbling, not handling the football, fumble. Michigan goes into halftime taking the lead, and then it just unravels from there. And then just from my eyeballs, and again, we're just fans, we're not coaches or anything, it just seemed like the way that Michigan just started moving the ball, I really didn't see any adjustments by the coaching staff. So to me, it seemed like Michigan was the more desperate team in the game. They were making the plays down the stretch, and we weren't. So this, to me, my take is that this was the first time I've really seen, our coaching staff just really get out coached. I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah, there was definitely errors. Coach Smith in the press conference today talked about the errors they made, not calling timeout early on that first drive, right? And
ridiculous.
Yeah.
During the game, I'm yelling like, oh, we call timeout. The last game, I was like, no, after the way.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, that was ridiculous.
That's fundamental.
And as you said, the run game between Mullings and Edwards, they didn't really go off for anything. It was Alex Orji. And it's like, my friends, when he's in the game, he's not throwing the football. He's not throwing the football. He can't
do one thing.
Yeah. He can't throw the football. He's only going to run. He's not throwing the football. And he was just running wild. I'm like, what are we doing? For all the good we did in the first, like I said, 17 minutes, it unraveled. And then we started throwing the ball down the field in the fourth quarter. We'll get into that in a second. That was like a little bit like, they didn't have their number one DB in. Johnson wasn't playing. I'm like, guys, this is how we can attack them. And I know you studied it. I hear you guys, you studied it. So it was the second and third quarters were very, I didn't understand what was going on. Spooky times. I know it's Halloween. Spooky times. Like,
we might as well just move on to, you already know what we
please,
should.
Oh yeah, good Sparty, bad Sparty. So, we're already getting the good Sparty. So let's continue. I mean, we're already in the segment. Let's just kick it off with the bad Sparty. I mean,
ain't no good Sparty yet. We're not. We haven't had our therapy session.
But
yeah, bad Sparty. Quapo, you pointed it out. This. I said it. It was just mind-boggling how we were getting out-coached. I mean, it was ridiculous. And to me, the waste of the running game, because this was the best game Nick Carter's had all season. I mean, he was looking better than all the running backs of Michigan. I mean, he had over 100 yards running. He had a touchdown. And to me, it was really baffling to see how we didn't take advantage of the running game because it was right there. I mean, there was no, for what I saw from past games, with the play action, rolling it, Childs out, he's throwing darts down the field. I saw none of that. Now, I will say there were some times where Aiden was kind of running for his life because, the offensive line, and Brian, you pointed out how strong Michigan's D-line was, and I understand that, but still.
They're the best shooter on the field, and that's I'll get to that later on.
Yeah, you couldn't, while you were in the lab, you guys really couldn't take advantage of that. I mean,
they did.
They did. They said that's the problem.
That's the problem.
Them draw plays.
Yeah, they were taking advantage of them being aggressive and they were running the football down their throat. And then, they stiffened up. Michigan's defense stiffened up. Now we're mixing some play action passing. That's again, like you said, it's three fans on this show. There's three of us that are fans. I know how hard these guys work week in, week out, just knowing them and being around the building. They work hard. That's not the issue. The thing that we got on previous staffs were about no adjustments on that stuff. And the thing, these guys have been so good for 7 games about making adjustments on the fly. Look what they did against Iowa. They played such a good football, and the scheme was there. And then, we just, it was just.
I'll say this: we're on coaching because that's my biggest bad Sparty is the coaching, the game management, and to your point, it's weird to criticize the game plan because it worked. They run it to run the football. But to everybody's point, I don't think they really got into their bag.
Mm-hmm.
I think, Ken, you said it earlier about Michigan play like the desperate team. They scored those touchdowns because they, you know what, we've been having issues. So what I'm going to do is make sure that I get these points when I can. I'm going to run this trick play down here in the red zone to make work. It seemed like we got to the red zone, we just kept going business as usual.
Right.
Even though we know the red zone has been our issue in scoring touchdowns.
Mm-hmm.
And then we already talked about Smith with that 4th and 2, not calling the timeout. It's malfeasance.
Yeah. Yep.
This team is not good enough to overcome these small, correctable mistakes. And that's the thing that I came away from this game with, is that State doesn't have the players on the lines to make the small mistakes they did and still win a game like this, because this was a very winnable game. And like you said, that's the most frustrating part.
And another bad Sparty, and it's not really bad Sparty, it's bad officiating. How does Michigan have 0 penalties?
No.
Can we get hold in there? Can we get a defensive pass interference? I know
they played perfect.
Field, but how? Come on, man! You mean to tell me there's 0 penalties? Come on!
Right.
So it's a bad overall look for the game. We talked about coaching, coming away with no points on that opening drive, the fumble, a lot of stuff I don't want to rehash, and the fact that we said just no downfield passing until the 4th quarter. That's malfeasance. Like, you got to challenge them. You have one of the arguably 5 best freshman receivers in the country, right? We know how good Nick Marsh is. He still got off in this game, and we weren't going down the field. That's part of the good part is Nick Marsh's performance. And again, collection plays past, collection plays.
Yes. Please stay. Baby, please.
I mean, but yeah, that's just that was tough. Do we want to go to good Sparty? There's a few good Sparty things.
Nah, I'm sticking with the bad Sparty. We got to hash it out. I think, because I keep talking, I'll go back to the game plan, the play call, and I'm sorry to harp on it. After that sack fumble right before halftime, I feel like they didn't trust any more downfield passing until they needed to.
That's probably
at this point. Michigan comes down and scores touchdowns.
Yeah.
And so he was down 14 points, but now they throw the comeback. And part of the mismeasurement of the game is, all right, the onside kick. Now, it doesn't work. I don't think it was the worst call in the world. I just think it was unnecessary.
Right.
Michigan is a mistake-prone team. And we started losing the game when we started losing the field position battle. Because the whole first quarter, we kept hitting them deep. They would do a couple things, have to punt. That's what bad offenses do. But when, make them repeatedly go 75 yards, can they do it for a 4th time in the game, for a 5th time in the game? No, let's not give them these short fields. And ultimately, that gives us bad field position. Then we kick the ball. And now they have good field position. So they only have to have, hey, if we hit a penalty targeting, we hit a trick play.
Oh,
touchdown.
how about the targeting? Yeah, I forgot about that ball.
These little small things cause this game to be lost, and that's coming as coaching and game management.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, that goes back to your thing about I think, just like anything in life, when the first time you do something, you might be nervous. And clearly, these guys are professionals. They've been coaching for 15, 20 years in some cases. That's not the issue. The Michigan State rivalry is one of the underrated rivalries in the country. People you don't know it until you live it or in it. And part of not understanding what you are in as you're coaching is like any old other game. This is not any old game. This is your neighbor that you want to punch in the face down the street. This is not any old game. This is a blood feud over 117 matchups. This is, and I think now there's an understanding and recognition of what this truly is. And again, the person who's had probably the most success in modern time, Coach D'Antonio, he understood it from the jump, and that helped propel him. Not only that, not only understanding this rivalry, but then, which we'll get into later, understanding what you do after the rivalry if you lose it, how you got to prepare to make sure you don't just have the season spiral. So we'll see what happens this week because it's a big week for everybody in the building.
Yeah, I mean, just to piggyback off what you guys said, it's just very disappointing. And to your point, Quafo, yeah, this was and we've already harped on it. We're going to harp on it some more. We're going to probably talk about it for the rest of the year until the next football season starts, that this rivalry is not like any other rivalry in the country. You have the largest universities in this state. They're an hour away from each other. Every day you see someone from Michigan or Michigan State, whether if you go into the store, you're getting some gas, you go into a restaurant, you go into a bar, you see these people. Yeah, you break bread with these people. But on the one day of the year, divided we stand. And yeah, there was a scuffle after the game, but I mean, that's how the rivalry is. And, Mark D'Antonio was the one who really brought emphasis to the rivalry when he was the coach. And towards the end of his tenure, yeah, it got really scrappy and, fisticuffs and, even
Well,
when
Harbaugh made it toxic.
coach. Oh yeah, Harbaugh really made it toxic.
Harbaugh made it toxic.
Yeah, he made it toxic because he was talking all that BS.
But we get all the bad stuff. We get all the negative credit for it, but Harbaugh was the one who made it toxic. So Michigan State always gets in trouble for responding.
Right. Yeah, that's the main
problem. You get caught little brother. It's like, all right, so we're supposed to just stay back and take all the disrespect. And when D'Antonio comes up and says, no, we're not going to take it. Oh my God, how dare this guy from Michigan State stand up for himself? And
right.
So, that's just, part of the rivalry.
Right.
And not to fuel to the fire.
Yeah. And then not to mention living here in the Detroit area, I mean, the coverage here, and yeah, the people from Michigan who probably see this, yeah, they're going to be like, yeah, y'all just whining, y'all lost. I want that stuff here.
Charges filed. How about that? Let's bring it back there. Let's go back to be petty. I want charges filed. We have Michigan players stomping out Michigan State coaches and players on the field on video, HD. So like Alan Haller said, I want to see it treated fairly.
Yes.
Because if I remember correctly, our guys are done for the rest of the year.
And charges, Washtenaw County, all that nonsense.
Yeah, with Eli Sabat, the district person there, DA. Oh, so yeah, let's keep this same energy. And we already know what's going to happen. Nothing. I don't think any of those guys will be suspended because we know how this goes. We know how it goes. But I'll bring it back to our side. I'm getting a little fired up talking about it, getting off topic. But one last bass party for me. I already kind of mentioned it. Having watched the game and cooled off and looking at it from a more positive perspective, State doesn't have the difference makers on the lines, and this game made it even more clear. Because one thing we could not do was pressure Michigan's quarterback.
Right.
No pressure. He had all day. And, I don't know what the game plan was to say, hey, let's let Loveland run around and not have anybody account for him. I don't understand how he's not an instant sight match. Hey, if he's running past you, that's who you guard. But I don't know anything about football. I'm sure there's some defensive thing that they know that I don't. But yeah, I know everybody hates Mel Tucker, but one thing he said that stuck with me was about you have to have at least 3 difference makers on each side of the ball. I think we have some stars and budding stars on offense. And on defense, I think we have a bunch of above average solid players. We don't think we have anybody who is a complete game wrecker. We don't have that rush in yet who can, all right, on 3rd and long, oh, we better have him. We better get that guy. I don't think we have that yet. And we're still in the first years of a new regime. And I think you're seeing the good bones and structures of the team. And so I have to keep that in mind, especially in taking a tough loss. Because I still think everything is in front of us for this year. Can we still make it to 7 wins? Definitely. Can we make it to 8 wins? Possibly. But, there's still things to play for. This one loss shouldn't derail the whole season. And I hope that's what he's like. You talked about, hey, don't make this 1 loss 2 losses.
And one thing I'll add too, and then Quaffle, I'll kick it to you, is that I was looking on Instagram today, and um, I guess I'll consider this accountability on Coach Smith's part because there was, I think it was the Spartan Sports News or MSU Sports Zone, one of those Instagram pages. They had a big quote that Jonathan Smith said that, he wasn't, I guess this is his D'Antonio-ish type of comment when he said, he's never going to forget it. He's not going to forget tonight, etc. I guess I'll take that as a positive because, again, this is his welcome to the rivalry moment that the inches count, all of the things that we pointed out with, the error, not calling a timeout, fourth down in their red zone. And then, with Aiden fumbling the ball and then just the lack of, adjustments in the second half. I mean, the missed field goal, bad spotting for Jonathan Kim, all those little things added up to a loss. So, you got baptized. Now you know what this is about. So you just have to take it on the chin, live with it for the entire season, get off the mat, get ready for Indiana as well for the rest of the season. And then in the off season, look at the comments, the little bro comments that, Colston Loveland said is going to be selling insurance. Mr. Cade McNamara. Take all that, bottle it in. So when the season's over, you just keep seeing red until next year. So
I'm seeing red right now, and I'm not playing.
so
I'm seeing red right now.
So let's just keep it moving, gentlemen. Word in the street, Quaffo. I mean, you probably already said it. I think you mentioned it was a players-only meeting. So the word in the street is just super mad frustration or whatever, right?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of frustration, a lot of missed opportunities. I say within the department, everybody knows that's one that got away. None of the players, it's cooling off period. I'm not trying to talk to none of them right now. Like let them soak into it. I'll probably see them on Saturday, getting ready for IU. Again, like we talked about, this will really test the mettle of the team. Some of the team leaders, this will test how together they are, and not allowing the loss to cascade in 2, 3, 4 losses. All the games rest on their schedule. They can win them. They can win out. And so really you need your team captains, your Nate Carter's was taking some of that leadership again, played so well. We didn't really get in the good Sparty of it, but it's the best game by far.
A wasted performance, just great performance by Carter.
And we talk about Nick Marsh.
Most definitely.
So there's enough. See, that's the thing. Like you guys said, it's the game of inches. And there's enough in that building to win the rest of the games. Even without pass rush, the offensive line has played really well the last 3 games.
Yes.
They have.
The guys. Well, I mean, Stanton Rimmel was like a 4-star guy, but you know what I'm saying. There's not a lot of guys that were super sought after, on the offensive line. And defensive line, we'll need some game records. It's going to take a little bit of time, like you said, to get that edge rusher that people got to fear to come off there. I mean, I'm thinking back to Shalik Calhoun, really, to someone who could get off after the quarterback.
Even I would take a Kenny Willekes. People forget he was really good.
He was.
Yeah. So, so word on the street is focus for Indiana. Please come out, man. Let fans come out to the game. Let's try to make a good showing. IU is coming in undefeated. This is the longest they've been undefeated since I think 1962 or 61, something like that. So this is some record-setting stuff for them. Let's spoil their season. Like we got upset last week. Let's spoil IU season. So that's kind of the word on the street is everything's still in front of them. Chance to go to a bowl game. Chance to have a winning record for this season. So word on the street is a missed opportunity, but we got to move on we got to put that in the bottle and we got to move on, keep working. And for the coaches, when I talk to him, see him at a golf course or whatever, see him at Costco, I'm be like, guys, I appreciate what you did this year, but now you understand what it means to be in this state and in this rival. Like, now you understand. Like, I know a couple of guys we know the rivalry because they played in it, but for most of the people on the staff, they didn't know. Now you know. Now you know.
Right.
So, and
You know,
knowing that will battle, like the old G.I. Joe thing. Knowing
and I know
Right.
we weren't, super positive, but I wanted to say, to pick up something you said, Quavo, last few games, this team has been playing so much better than they were at the beginning of the year.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like the Ohio State and Oregon game kind of, warped our perception about where the team is at. No, they're not world beaters yet, but I think you've seen improvement enough to say, okay, hey, we're within our peer group. What game should we have lost? If we have played the way we played versus Michigan, if we played this way versus Boston College, we win that game.
Right.
And so that's one more game we win. We don't turn. We learn out if we learned a lesson a little bit earlier, turnovers and the coaching, decisions a little bit would have been better. All right, now we win this game, and so that's what, like everybody said, it makes it so much more difficult for this one because this one the one that got away, even with some of the deficiencies we have with our team. The defense is remarkably better than what it was. No, it's not perfect. We don't have that pass rusher. Most people don't, but you can see the growth, and I think we have to keep that part of mind. Nate Carter, his best game I've ever seen him play at Michigan State, out of his mind, breaking tackles.
Mm-hmm.
And you see what happens when he has an offensive line that can make that hole. We can see some of his talent shine through. So, we have a bright future. Things are still looking up, still trending up, a little down right now, but I think we can still trend back up with IU.
And for Nate, when I talk to him next, so I haven't seen him since the summer, really. When I see Nate, I think he's still got, obviously, this half season, and he has one more year of eligibility. He's a kid that would benefit from just coming back. I know he's a running back. Coming back, be the man next year. I know it's kind of a split backfield this year, and you got some kids coming in next year. You come back, you get those carries. You get yourself to be at least a day 2 pick in the league. I don't think he's there right now, but I think another year, you really go down in Spartan lore. And quite frankly, if they had won this game, that would have been like one of the all-timers.
Oh, that'd been a story.
Yep.
The Nate Carter game. That's what it's been called. The Nate Carter game.
Yeah. So
if
Nate,
the defense don't get that last touchdown, I think this game. To be clear, we're this close to going to overtime. We're in the red zone. We're there.
Yeah.
And so that's what kind of made it frustrating about, we could have been going down the field earlier. But
Facts.
I don't know.
Facts.
I'm glad the players are working hard.
Working together, right? No dissension right now. So,
and as far as Indiana goes, I did watch a little bit of their game, I think against Washington, because I think they were a 12 o'clock game. And before moving on, our game against Indiana actually is a day game for once. I mean, we haven't had a day game in over a month, so this game was a 3:30 kickoff.
I don't think we've had a 12 p.m. game, have we?
No, we probably won't. That's
we
what
won't.
I'm guessing. So, but from what I've seen, and it's kind of hard for me to gauge Indiana because they really haven't played anybody. I think they play Ohio State, I think, towards the end of the season. But
their toughest game was Nebraska, and they wiped them off the map. So I don't know what.
So
they've been wiping everybody off the map. So I think they're good.
Their coach
I'm not saying they're bad, but it's not
really
like
good.
Oh yeah, I'm just saying that they haven't played Ohio State, haven't played Oregon.
No.
So it's hard for me. It's kind of hard to see how good they are until they match up with one of those teams. And like I said, I think they play Ohio State later in the season. But anyway, we're back home. To your point, Quafo, I think we, getting up off the mat, you have to just take our anger out on them to get the old spittoon back because, we haven't been Indiana about the past, 2 seasons. I mean, the last year we played them. I mean, that game was the worst loss I've ever seen. Or was that 2022?
That's 2 years. We beat them last year. I think there's the Montori Foster had an intercept, had a nice catch, and then tight end that's not here anymore had a real nice
Okay,
reception.
I'm thinking of 2 years ago then. But anyway, yeah.
Yeah, the comeback loss. We're in Florida.
Yeah.
Watching as we couldn't hit a 25-yard field goal.
So, yeah. It's going to be a tough game for sure because Indiana, they're rolling. I mean, I think they're ranking the top 10 now. So it's not going to be an easy game, but I do believe it's a winnable game.
Yeah, definitely winnable. I mean, Kurt Signetti as a coach was a beast last year at JMU. When I was, going through, obviously I love having Coach Smith, but Signetti was a name. I was like, hey, if this dude's available, go get it, because he gives zero, as they would say. Like, he doesn't care. he is old school, like, I'll swear if I start talking about how he is, but like he's the kind of coach you gotta want, because he's no messing around. He was successful at that, those smaller schools. And even with the quarterback injury, we'll see if Rourke plays today, or excuse me, Saturday, or Jackson. Doesn't matter. Put someone in. They run the ball exceedingly well. They always have when he was at JMU. I mean, they run the ball well. Lawton is a great running back. Surratt at the wide receiver is a beast. The whole group of receivers is very good. It's going to challenge all of our friends in the secondary. So, man, you better strap up. Don't be feeling sorry for yourself, Spartans, because Indiana is coming. They got playoff designs, and so you can spoil their season right now. Saturday.
We got to score touchdowns. We can't settle for field goals. I think we're going to move the ball, but we got to score touchdowns.
Not against Indiana, nope.
Not turn the ball over. The same stuff we've been saying all year, basically.
Yeah.
But essentially, it's more. I mean, Indiana's not Oregon or Ohio State, but it's probably offensively just a notch below the way they run their stuff, the way they execute. I mean, poor Washington is like, man, we made some bad decisions coming to Big Ten. Because Indiana was like, take your butt back to Puget Sound. They was like, that place was rocking. Game
a lot of the teams benefited from getting out of the Big Ten East.
Mm-hmm.
Because our side of the pot was always hard. Like, the West was a joke compared to the East always.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, even with the West being a joke, look at these teams that have come over from the Pac-12. Right?
They're getting worked.
It's getting worked. It's interesting when you get up for one game, right? Like in the Pac-12, you say you get up for USC, or you maybe get up for Oregon, and then you can play some cut.
Get up for Arizona State.
Who are the cupcakes in the conference right now on the football side? Purdue, and there's 18 teams. So you between
Northwestern sometimes. Maryland's turning to themselves.
Yeah,
I wouldn't say Northwestern's a cupcake. You go to Evanston, you might catch an L. So
yes, you got to come prepared.
Like, so it's really like Purdue right now in terms of days off, if you will, in the conference. So like those Pac-12 teams are getting a rude awakening.
Yeah, except for Oregon. I mean, Oregon, they're on a different planet.
For now, remember, they're probably going to get to the Big Ten title game. It's going to be in December. Yes, it's indoors. And probably waiting on the other side of them is those boys from Columbus. And I'm going to tell you, they're probably going to come off a win against Michigan. They're going to be ready to go, like with all the things in their sight. Oregon better watch out in the rematch.
I'll say this, and I know it's not. If you watched Oregon, your biggest concern with them is their coach, because he does some weird stuff. Okay. And he's cost them games. He did some weird stuff the last few years. It cost them a game versus Washington last year. Just weird and stuff you don't need to. Just sometimes if you just a better team, just be the better team and go with the game plan. Sometimes he gets a little bit too cute. Oh, let's go for 2. But why?
Right.
I'm going for this 4th down. But why would you take the 3?
Yeah.
Right.
So those little mistakes that him and Ryan Day, it happened versus Ohio State and Oregon earlier. They had some exchanges of, what are y'all doing? But yeah, so we'll see.
By the way, Oregon plays Michigan, so
yeah, forget those guys. Let's go to the next part.
So since we're talking about Indiana, The good old fun football fact here to stomp you guys once again. Even though Quaffle got last week's one, he's kind of
Yep,
catching up
rode
with
his
Brian.
coattails.
He's
I
trying to
rode his
catch up with
coattails in
Brian
that
here. So this week's question is, how many times has MSU won the Old Spittoon against Indiana? They play for that Old Spittoon trophy. So is it A, 25 times, B, 50 times, or C, 65 times throughout their history of playing against each other?
I want to say B, the middle number. So I know it's more than the
50?
20s. I
You
feel like
may
we
be-
played them for such a long time, and we
Well, we
normally
didn't
beat
think about it though, because we really would have only played them for the most part as conference members, right? So that goes back to the 50s. So we're in 2020, so 70 times. We think we beat them 5 out of 7 times.
I do.
Okay. Yeah, I'll go with 50. I'll go with 50.
I go with 50.
I'll go 50.
All right. Well, ding, ding, ding. Y'all got it again.
There it is.
Man,
Yeah.
y'all on a roll.
Yeah.
Yes, MSU has won the Old Spittoon 50 times.
Wow.
And according
Very
to Google, that MSU leads the series against Indiana 50, 18, and I believe 2. So we've tied with them twice. But Indiana's won 18 times. We won 50 times. So
See, you see the math that worked out, right? That's about 70 years of being in the conference.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, and see, that's how we, engineer the answer, right? That's the graph from MSU coming in right there. That's the engineering from MSU coming in right there.
Yes. So we've had some good success against Indiana. So we'll see if we can continue it this Saturday.
Make it 51. Let's make it 51.
Yes. Yeah, because right now we don't have any trophies. No Paul Bunyan, no Spittoon. Well, we may have the old Spittoon. But,
we got it last year.
We
That's
beat
right.
them last year, I think. Yeah.
So no land grant, because we got whooped by Penn State last year. So our
No
trophy,
megaphone or
our
Nothing.
trophies is looking kind of bare. So we need to at least keep this one.
Yeah, it would be
So,
nice to keep it.
Yes. Oh, one last thing. I'm gonna shout out Mr. Quapo here, Zilla Sports Network.
We got the
Zilla
There it
merch.
is.
We got
Network
the merch.
apparel here,
We got the merch.
promoting our co-host partner here. So, Is this stuff on sale, Quaffo, or?
Hey man, it's whatever, man. We trying to promote the partnership we have with ZSN and with Q the Woodshed. It's been a great year. So I know we've got some giveaways for some of our fans. We'll continue to do
Yes,
that.
we
as
do.
well.
Yes, we do.
Yeah, there's a way in which you get at me on the socials. Get at me. You might be in the possession of one of those fly sweatshirts. We got them in black
Yes,
and
yes,
gray.
sir.
We got them in
Yes.
black and gray. So
Yes.
get at us, like and subscribe for the podcast.
Yes.
man.
Yes. Yes. Please get us on YouTube, Spotify, Amazon Music. What other platforms are you on, Mr. Super Mad Spartan? Because you're in charge of all the streaming
Apple.
platforms.
It's on. Wherever you get your streaming from, we're there.
Yes, we're there. We're like the Matrix. We're everywhere. So we definitely appreciate the viewers and listeners we have, and we want to get more and more and more. So anything, any last comments here, gentlemen, before we wrap this up?
I think I'm gonna be in the building on Saturday. I'm predicting a Spartan win. I'm gonna just say it. I'm predicting a Spartan win.
There we go.
There it is.
They're gonna pop up and show out for me. I'm predicting it's close, but it's a Spartan victory on Saturday.
I will take it, and we need it. We definitely need it. So
For sure.
All right. So with that, another episode in the books of Q the Woodshed. I'm Ken, the super cool Spartan, but still mad. Brian, my brother, the super mad Spartan, super duper mad Spartan. We got Quaffo, the super mad but still connected Spartan, Zilla Sports Network. And we are out of here. go green.
Go
Go
White.
White.